Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. That was a quick intro. It is Monday, the 24th of March. Happy birthday to Billy, by the way, my uncle. Birthday today. Everton had their second test event yesterday.
Yeah.
You were there, John.
Yeah.
It was your first experience of being in the ground when
With people.
there was people there.
Yeah.
So, what did you make of it?
Well, it's tremendous, isn't it?
Don't know.
No, it really is. I mean,
I was negotiating a tricky cup tie at the same time as Everton were playing. So you
I mean, I've physically been in it a couple of times before. Obviously, no people in it.
Yeah.
My missus hadn't been even inside the wall
Yeah.
for obvious reasons because she didn't get the being constructed views that I got. And as anyone who's been there will no doubt tell anyone who hasn't been there, you can see the drones, you can see the photographs, you can see this, that, and the other. But the scale of the place when you get there will still surprise you. I mean, the physical structure, it's huge. And then when you get inside, you go, what's happened here? It's not huge after all. And the views are tremendous. I mean, I went in the north stand simply because I'll probably never go in it again.
Yeah.
And at front row seats in the corner, where would it be? Northwest corner.
Right.
You know, there's a riverside.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And tremendous view. Yeah. And then probably what I'd say to anyone who's going to be in the north stand, then the concourse areas aren't as big as the others. Yeah. But they're still bigger than pretty much everything at Goodison. But then when you walk round the east stand into the south, which obviously we wanted to go and look at our seats, and people were in them, so couldn't sit in them, but saw them. Then everything just opens up and there's tons of room and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, very, very impressive. Obviously there's going to be loads of questions about cost of food and drink and things like that. And I think the current, I don't know, use the phrase line of defence if you challenge anyone, is, well, it's a test menu and that's the point. We're finding out what people do and don't want, what people will and won't pay. But I guess we won't truly know whether all the price points are right, because you've got to have prices for everyone, haven't you, really? Until there's a real live game in there, and I suppose the reasons of we're running tests goes away and it's real. But plenty of space, plenty of, the queues weren't particularly long and to get food and stuff. Got young Harry here.
It's there.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't drink beer at footy matches. No, certainly not inside stadiums anyway. But young Harry's here with us doing his work experience, and he said all the donuts were gone. Was that before half time, did you think? Out of half time. So clearly the donuts are popular, but they're also the cheapest item on the menu, so maybe that's why they're popular. Who knows? But yeah, can't wait to see it full, Baz. I mean, I think there was probably about 28,000 in there yesterday, and obviously lots of empty spaces. No one in any of the hospitality areas, of course, no one in the away section, but much of the rest of the ground was reasonably well populated. And it does show you where the hospitality areas are, because you can tell, you know, there's clearly something going on in the north stand, because there's chunks of that zoned off and what have you. But yeah, fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And the football?
It was an interesting game. Clearly it's an age group game, so there's very little physical stuff going on, except that Bolton seemed to have turned up. I didn't realise it was a B team. A whole host of guys who had played a fair number of games in the first team, you know, late 20-year-olds and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see our kids, if you want to call them, coming to terms with the physicality that first teamers bring with them. And they had a centre back there who was about 6'5", and Sheriff didn't get anything out of him because he was just physically dominated him.
Yeah.
You know? And we know that from that age group, don't we? It's pretty much a non-contact sport. So it was good of them to turn out, well, if you can call it a win, when they only played for 65 minutes before the top secret emergency exit activity took place, by which time I suspect, you know, a third or more people had already left. Yeah, because what were we there for?
Why 65 minutes? Why not 75?
I don't know. Maybe the ref had to get home or something.
Yeah,
you know,
possibly.
I mean, Bolton's not far, is it? But yeah, I mean, it's it presumably ticked the box. And then once you get outside the ground, I know everyone will have different experiences, but in the end, the guy who was doing parking in his yard or whatever. He never ever got back to me, so that was fine. So I just parked in town.
Yeah.
£6 on a meter, walked into the game, walked back again. So I avoided the very long queues I saw on social media of people queuing up to try and get into Sandhills, never mind get on a train. But it's an unusual situation, wasn't it? Everybody left at the same time.
Yeah, it's not gonna
So it was stress testing, all of the facilities and the infrastructure and all that sort of stuff. Some mates from the Shareholders Association were on the soccer bus. They hadn't got to the Strand by 10 to 2, so the whole road system looked like it might have got pretty gridlocked as well, as people are driving around thinking, where can I park, where can't I park, all those sorts of things. So I think if this is on the watch of the Metro Mayor, he's got a lot on his hands. They're reviewing, aren't they, that zone anyway, because of pressure from the business users. But Mr. Rotherham and his team need to step it up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a challenging time, I think. If there's only half the people capacity yesterday and it still struggled at times, then
no away fans, of course. So every week for the whole of the first season, or every other week of the first season, we'll have 3,000+ people who've never been there before, won't we? So that's a big enough number on its own, but 50-odd thousand going in and out of there, then it's just going to be a nightmare if it doesn't improve dramatically. And it's a funny one, because somehow the narrative's becoming this is Everton's problem. And I think everything that comes out of the officials says that the transport group is chaired by Everton, which clearly is to try and pin the blame on Everton, but surely it's not Everton's fault that train stations can't cope, or the train station isn't big enough, or there's a exclusion zone within 30 minutes walk of the ground, and all that sort of stuff is clearly to do with.
But this is the point
for the policy.
This is the whole point of these test events.
Oh, totally,
to flag up all of these issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seen an issue with the bridge, people can't all go across the bridge and all that. If that is a genuine issue with weight, then they need to sort that. And that's the way it is, isn't it?
Because I walked, apart from the fact, as soon as you come out the ground, there's a big sign that says, city centre this way and how far it is. And honest to God, if you look at it, people, it looks to me like they've said the distances are how far it is if you drive, because it's clearly wrong for how far you walk. It's got like 2.25 miles or something to get to Lime Street, which is mad. Yeah. But I thought it was really well organised. Because I was walking into town, they were stopping you to, create buffers. But my missus said that's as good as she's seen at away matches. I know this isn't an away match, but, other than Arsenal, which is obviously right by a tube station and is really heavily marshalled, and they do it really well, to make sure there's a steady flow.
Oh, okay.
So I think they control the steady flow, people walking away from the ground towards the city centre really well. And I guess there's just bottlenecks. I mean, Ped, I know, went on the train, but I don't think he went home on the train. But there's clear bottlenecks at the station, and if people are queuing down the street, then presumably the fan zone, or whatever it's currently called, is full. So I don't know. You're right, though. It is what it's for, doing test events, but they're not realistic in the sense of, I wasn't in my own seat. No doubt very few people in the ground were in their own seat. There's a whole host of groups not there. All the hospitality users weren't there per se.
But I just think it's not realistic.
Away fans and so on.
Everyone's not going to leave at the same time.
Well, that's where I was going to get.
The whole point of
absolutely,
the ground should stay open after it, which apparently it will be. Yeah. Bars will be open and all that. Yeah. So therefore, people will stay. Why would you go?
And that's the point, because
unless the prices are too expensive.
Well, yeah. I guess we'll get to that, and that's the point. So if you put on the down scale. So it's getting a bit heavy, this downside now, isn't it? But the positive side of it is, you're right, even if 20,000 people all left at once, pretty much going two ways, one to a station, the other to the opposite direction, is that typical of what happened on a regular match day? Probably not. Clearly, people will all arrive in dribs and drabs, going in, and to a large, but there's still going to be a huge volume of people who do get up from the seat when the whistle goes and go home.
And get off, yeah.
Right? So I think all focus is going to keep coming back on the train station, I think. ultimately, because that's the newsworthy bit of long queues and all that sort of thing. So let's see what the next one's like, but a lot of work to be done, I think, intuitively. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, Ped, you were there, obviously, after running a half
Great
marathon.
video, by the way, Ped.
After running a half marathon. What did you obviously been to both test events. So any differences in them that you noticed, like from the last one to this one? What was your overall?
15,000 people.
And we're now obviously, apart from the obvious.
Such a wit.
You know.
Yeah, there's loads of differences. Fan zone was open, so the management of people getting into the stadium was a lot different, and obviously looking after people was a lot different than the first time. I was just trying to get you into the stadium. The train station, obviously I got the same from town, but it was I got there about 25 past 1, so it was a lot closer to kick-off, so there was a lot less people about, but that was quite smooth. But it does need work, a lot of work. And then on the way out, because we all came out at the same time, so it's like worst case scenario.
True. I
walked down that road, Regent Road, to the bridge, and there was a stop-go system. It's not for the weight. That bridge carries large trucks every single day. So this idea that it was for weight that people have put out on social media is nonsense. It was for because it's narrow, and they're making sure everyone can get over it safely. And they put a system in place, and honestly, it was fine. People just want to complain about absolutely everything. It was fine. You had to wait for a minute or two. It was absolutely fine. Okay, in the pissing down rain and stuff like that, it might be different, but people will. This is only the second event, and this is the first one with that many people. People will start walking up to Great Howard Street and just walk along Great Howard Street. People will find their way. There are a lot of issues, but there's also issues that aren't real issues. There's issues because people have never been somewhere before and they don't know how to negotiate it, and they want somebody else to tell them how to do it. And I think there just needs to be a bit of common sense. Go up to Great Howard Street and just walk into town if you're walking into town. That's it. If you're really bothered about that bridge, you can walk left past the Titanic Hotel and walk up to Great Howard Street. That's just common sense. You don't need to be on the lower road. And that's where people will find the way. And as you said, people will come out at a different time. The train station needs sorting massively. It's not fit for purpose.
Too small, isn't it?
And then I see people going, where are you going to find the money from? Well, guess what? They're finding the money for one at the Baltic. But Reds can come on. Few Reds come on to me, Esty. This is not a Baltic. This is not a Sandhills problem. This is an Everton problem. Well, all your fans are going to Box Park, mate. That's why they're building one at the Baltic for your own games. That's the truth. They're building one at the Baltic because it's an area that has grown, and that's what happens. You can't stop progress. You can't say we're not having a train station because it cost X amount of money. If everyone thought like that, I just can't get over this like narrative people have in their heads of like everything has to stop. As things grow, cities grow, areas grow, you need stuff for that area, and that train station is going to have to be rebuilt. It's not going to be now. It's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. But what you've got to start doing is recognise that there's a problem there, not go, let's just put a little fan zone in. You've got to recognise that there is a problem and it needs to be built. And the minute they start recognising that, and then they can go to the government maybe, or they can go to the owners of the football club and go, what can we do between us to make this work? But the sooner that conversation starts, the better, rather than going, this is fine, we'll manage it. It's not fine. It's not fine. It needs someone real to step up and go, this needs sorting. Andy Burnham's doing this in Manchester. We need a mayor who's willing to do it here. And that's
you're asking for leadership, aren't you?
Yeah, that's not me. That's not me saying get rid of Steve Rotherham. That's me saying to Steve Rotherham, number one, get your hair cut, and number two, step up. Step up and start facing the demands instead of blaming other people. You're the Metro Mayor. If you want to stay the Metro Mayor, you're going to have to start stepping up and rising to the leadership and the being a leader and the concerns of the people. And that's not just going, this will sort itself out. They've addressed the car parking situation today. They've suspended that because it was a load of absolute nonsense. That was the city council. But that is a real concern, and it needs to be sorted. People need to be able to get. It's not about, it will always be busy. It will always be busy. As John just mentioned there, I've been the Emirates, and when you leave that ground, you walk past the Highbury tube station, and there's a queuing system outside. It'll be in a lot of places. West Ham, I know, is the same.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that is completely a one-off at Everton Football Club, but we do need to address this. We need to stop pretending at Sandhills. It's an island station. People could fall off both sides onto the tracks. There's not enough room for people. That has to be addressed. So that's that. But I think common sense just needs to prevail. People need to say to themselves, have your own little management plan. Where am I parking and how am I getting to that place? And start sort of, using these test events to test that out. Yesterday, people might have decided, I'm going to town. I'm parking in town and I'm going to town. Or whatever. But start using your own brain. Start using your own initiative. Where am I going to go? Rather than waiting for other people. That's not the solution for everyone, of course. There's people who can't get about, disabled, elderly, just restricted mobility. That could be of any age. I do understand that. Hopefully now with I've seen a lot of blue badge holders parked really, really close to the ground yesterday. And that's fine. That's the way it should be. That's what they've been given that badge for. Because they don't have that. So, just some people just need to just decide themselves, what are you going to do? You're going to walk to town? For me, it'll be try and get as close to round by the Liver buildings as possible, park there, and then just walk after the games. Because that, to me, is the equivalent of where I walk now from Goodison to the car park at Stanley Park.
Yeah,
it's about the same distance.
Is it, yeah?
Yeah, it's about the same distance, isn't it? So, it's about the same, There's on a winter's night, that's not a great walk because you have to walk past all the away coaches and stuff like that. But people have just got to be a little bit more grown up rather than waiting for somebody else to give them the answers. I just find that a bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, there is criticisms. I don't know what people expected, to be honest. Don't know. Emma says, great day yesterday. The stadium is unbelievable.
Correct.
Danny Church, a YouTube member, says, got to say, love the stadiums in the West Stand near the North Stand, near the top, but it was an amazing view of the pitch. Bap says, what an amazing stadium. Very impressive, to say the least. People who are going to moan about the price and food simply don't eat or drink. Roll on August.
Can I just address that? I'll just come back on that. The prices are too expensive. £6 for a pie. So that's
a disgrace.
£6 for a pie.
Disgrace.
Right. My issue is though, is the choice of food. That's my it's like the same old. Now I hope that improves. I hope you can actually go in and get meal deals, burgers, chips and a drink for whatever it is. Obviously it'll be a bit more than like McDonald's because obviously McDonald's is global company. But I'm underwhelmed by the choice of food rather than the price of it. But £6 for a pie is disgusting. Because when it costs you 20 quid for 2 pies and 2 hot drinks, that's disgusting. But that's the way it's gone. But if I'm going to pay money like that, I want to have something that is, something I can take and go and stand and eat it properly rather than, a pie. And that to me is... The ale prices are the ale prices. It's probably like town prices, but I'm hoping there's more choice. And if there are those prices, I'm hoping for something a little bit different than that. I don't want spicy chicken. I just want like a burger and chips. But
it should be. It's a big enough ground. Should be everything available. It is everywhere else. Why is Everton an issue?
Well, the answer, because I saw club guy in the concourse as I was walking from the north stand to the south stand, and I asked it and stuff. And of course, at the moment, quite legitimately, these are test menus. They're testing what people do and don't like. Clearly, we're getting some indication of what the price points will be, because even if the food is different, they're sort of saying, well, we're going to have something for X pounds and something for Y pounds. Yeah. And the choice is limited. But it is different, because I think none of the choices are available at Goodison, for example, I don't think.
I think like the chicken bowls you can get in the fan zone. there's like a place in the fan zone where you can get them and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, because they had some, outlets, didn't they, in the fan zone yesterday? Was it 3, I think, or something like that? An Indian one, I think was one, wasn't it? But it's too late, isn't it? Come August, if it turns out that the choices are always going to be limited. Right.
This is not moaning, by the way. This is feedback.
Well, that's what it is.
This is just feedback. I'm not moaning.
That's what I mean. We recognise
just
it.
Giving them feedback.
Yeah.
On a. I've said this loads of times, haven't I? On a night match, we'd go to McDonald's because there's no other choice.
That's right.
Around the ground, there's no other choice. You just go. You get it because the games are increasingly becoming R7 kickoffs, which is a joke. Yeah. You're rushing round. You're trying to get there. People are trying to get back from work. You haven't had a chance to have your tea. You end up going to McDonald's, with somewhere I don't really want to go. I'd rather give Everton the money I'm handing over to McDonald's, which is now £25 to £30 between two of you. If you're realistic, that's what it is in McDonald's now. And all you're getting is a burger, some chips, and a hot drink. I know it's disgusting, isn't
Not
it?
for two.
Oh, John, it is. That's how.
I've got to be honest. I don't go to McDonald's, so I don't know how much they are.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If it's like that's what it's becoming like 15, £20, £25, depending on how much you eat. It's that's what it's becoming. For two of you, and I'd rather hand that over to Everton.
Oh well, always. And that's
always,
and that's the commercial driver, isn't it? We talk about it frequently here. Get people inside the wall, and take the money. Yeah. Instead of them, as you say, dropping off at McDonald's on the way, because perversely that's more cost effective than going inside the stadium.
And that's all it is. It's not moaning. It's saying I would like a slightly larger choice, and I'll pay. I'll go into the ground. I'll stand there rather than going to McDonald's. Because for us, we were going to the McDonald's. We go into County Road, so we park up there. You're walking, you've got to go past the ground, and then you get there, and it's shocking, and it's got all kinds of people. There's no real queuing system, and then there's all the Uber Eats people as well, and it's chaos.
Yeah.
And then we started going to the one on Queen's Drive, right at the bottom by the Asda.
Yeah.
And then that road started getting blocked off, so it takes you ages to get up that road. For us, it would be park, not have to worry about getting something to eat. Go into the stadium on a night game and get something to eat, which is actually something that is substantial and not just a pie. So it's just feedback for me.
Of course it is.
That's all, and that's again, it's what a test event's for. And I would like Baz has just said, this is a big stadium. You can walk around it. We should have more than just one thing all the way round that sells all the same things.
That's the point, and that's the point, because the test thing or menu, it was the same at all the places. Yeah, or when I looked, it looked like the same.
To be fair, I'm shaking my head, but it is a test.
Yeah.
But the pricing, I think, is...
But the advantage of being...
I think the pricing's scandalous.
Yeah, at level 2, and I don't know what it's like. What's it like lower down, Ped? Were you in any of the lower sections?
I've only been in the uppers.
Because at level 2, you can walk up pretty much all the way around the stadium, either way from the hospitality in the West Stand. So you've got all those kiosks and things, and it could be, and people will, as you say, they'll naturally, well, if I want to eat Chinese, I know it's that one, so I'll go that way. If I want a burger and chips, I'll go that way. Yeah. At the moment, they're all got the same, and actually, it was not just donuts, Harry, was it? Other stuff was sold out quickly as well. So, clearly, any criticisms about the prices is one thing, but most of the stuff was getting sold out as well. But that's because of the limited choice, isn't it?
But it's also...
If you've got kids who demand, I want something to eat, then you just have to suck it up, don't you?
It's also... Well, but you shouldn't have to.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, on the test, they want it, and that's what I'm saying.
It's a novelty yesterday because people are going in. People felt they had to go.
But market forces will drive it once the stadium's open.
I'm sure there will be.
If they're putting stuff up...
John, I don't know.
But only yesterday, there was only... So there was for the food, it was sticky Korean chicken bowl and plant-based Korean bowl. They were £10.50 each.
Yeah.
And then there was 4 choices of pies: steak, chicken and mushroom, or Lancashire cheese and onion. They were £6.20
and the
each.
chicken thing
And a donut.
That's what was £3.50 the donut, wasn't it?
£3.50.
Yeah, and the chicken thing was quite dear as well, wasn't it?
See, that to me is a disgrace.
And then the drinks it was bottled drinks, and it was Corona. £4.50 for a bottle. Yeah. Budweiser Zero, £3.90. So that's basically a soft drink.
Yeah.
Pepsi Max were £3, nearly £3. 7-Up,
just for normal cans.
Coffee was £2. No, that's a 500. So it's the same size as a bottle.
Yeah.
Coffee was £2.75. Tea £2.50.
Tea cheaper than
water £2.85. So they're the prices you're gonna. But as I said, it's not the prices, it's it's the options. It's just the options.
I think it is the pricing as well. I think
It's both.
you can't be paying £6 for a pie.
No.
It's an absolute joke. I
That's
don't
an
mind
outlier,
if you're
isn't
going
it?
to create a menu that's a tenner and it's a bowl and it's a bit of different food. Fine, I've give that option. But just go and we've got you in the stadium, we're going to rip you off. That's disgusting because basically I'll just go elsewhere. Not getting my money. And that's just me.
Well, that's what I say. Market
If you're going to
forces will
start
sort
doing
out.
it and overpricing it, you've already rinsed us for the season tickets, as far as I'm concerned, when you've allowed commercial performance to be a disgrace for a number of years. Absolute embarrassment the commercial side has been for years. And you've rinsed us as fans to watch a product that's not very good, let's be honest. We don't win anything. We're not in Europe. We haven't got great players. You're expecting me to pay nearly double what I used to pay a few years ago to go into this, to see all of this stuff. And then you want to hammer me on top of it. That's not acceptable. You should have 3 different price points then for food.
Well, absolutely. And that's the chance.
People are saying here £4.50 for a beer.
By the way,
I'll just go to a pub, which is a better pint for less.
By the way, on Great Howard Street, from just by, if you walk down from Sandhills, there's a Greg's. And there's a fish and chips place next door.
Oh, well, I'll be honest.
So there you go.
I'm just saying,
and there'll be more.
In general, I won't be buying food because I won't be paying that price.
Well, I generally don't. So.
But I won't buy anyway. I wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't buy it good.
I eat a different menu than this stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go in and break me fast in the morning with a bloody pie or a stupid thing that they've got. Going to set me back 12 quid or whatever. But everyone should have that option. People go in. People are more likely to spend it. You can buy a pie in a chippy for £3 or something. Why is it double just because I'm inside a football ground? It's nonsense. I know you want to make a bit of money, but people, I still don't get the false economy of it. If you have the prices cheaper, people are more likely to spend even more and have a couple of pints rather than going, no, I'll just go to Murphy's or 10th Street Social or the Bramley Moor. Yeah. I'm not going to go there and spend that money because you're rinsing me. It's unacceptable.
It is.
Totally unacceptable.
And the questions... I don't know how the engagement's working on this, because if you're running test events, then of course you know that everyone got in and got out. But if you're running test menus, what are you judging acceptance on? Just whether it got sold or not, you know? And so the questions for, and Dave Witch will be on, hopefully he's watching now.
Dave's put something here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, the questions for fans are, what are the price points going to be? We're not interested in whether...
Go to Costco.
No, that's what I mean.
I could pay X amount for my membership for Costco a year. And I could go to Costco. If I'm walking from that end of town, I could go to Costco, straight to the food thing and get a drink and a hot dog or whatever for £1.50 or £2.
So do that then?
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. But again, that's money that Everton aren't getting off me.
That's the point, right? So market forces will determine if you price your way out, maybe it's not an optional choice for most of us to buy a ticket because we're addicted and we have to get there. But once we're inside the stadium, we talk about it when we're doing BWB, don't you? You want to extract as much of the wallet share as you can. And if you're not extracting it because you've made the prices too high, either A, you suffer the loss in income, or B, you reduce your prices. So get the feedback now and don't have to reduce them. You know,
I was under the impression they were going to have different. Like I've got.
Well, they will have different price points, but again, don't forget when we push.
But none of these are cheaper than the last event. So when does it become?
Well, that's
cheaper?
what I was about to say. If we are getting an indication of the price points, the feedback is they're not quite right. Yeah, and I know that, Fans Forum and people in particular like Dave are trying to get them to get real about beer prices and stuff like that. But it's not just about beer prices because not everyone drinks beer. No. Certainly anyone. Anyone under the age of 16 doesn't drink beer. I don't drink it. And I don't drink alcohol in footy matches, really. But the food is something that everyone will share. And I have no idea, because I didn't buy any, what portion sizes are like. So if you end up buying, say the portion sizes were great, and you've got an 8-year-old has to have a huge portion because it's £6. Well, where's the kiddies' prices? You know, where's the kiddie stuff of, I don't know, chicken nuggets and chips or something, or whatever it is that kids want, you know?
It just seems a bit.
But it's early doors.
It's disappointing. If it's going to continue like this, it's disappointing because they'll have missed another big off, as well as opening a ground with a capacity that's inadequate.
It's too small.
Open it with stuff that is too expensive. I don't understand how you can continually miss the point on what you're doing. It just blows my mind. And some of the people have left, and maybe they'll be changed.
There's a question there about whether they are missing the point.
Well, they are. They've got the stadium too small.
No, I'm talking about the food stuff now.
Well, they are missing the point, and I'm a consumer, so I can say they're missing the point.
No, so am I, and I think it's too high based on what Ped's just said, right? Even though I'm not going to. And
all I'm doing is taking my feedback from people who were there.
And I'm like you.
It's too expensive.
That's right. I'm like you. I ain't going to consume it. Therefore, we're almost neutral.
No, but I would do it with food. I probably would at times. But what I'm saying, no, that's fine. But I'm saying I possibly would. Or certain Zach will, because he bloody wants stuff wherever we go.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, my vision is Everton put on such a good range and a good price that not only do I want to, but lots of people do. Therefore, making the football club money.
But the point I'm making, or trying to, the point I'm making is, when you say they missed the point, who's they? Because is it the outsourced partner? What's the involvement of the football club in setting the price points? Does the outsourced partner think, well, actually, this is really nice food and it's all, healthy and stuff like that, therefore it costs more? And Ped's going, I just want me junk burger and chips, if you don't mind. I'm watching a football match and I'm not going to the theatre. I'm not doing this, that and the other, right?
Yeah, we could have them options.
I know. But I don't know if whoever they are know that they're missing the point. Because they've sat down and decided what the price points are going to be. And they've ended up with, let's call it a main, right? That's 10 quid upwards. Now, I don't even know what it is at Goodison, but
you don't get main.
I suspect
you get a main at Goodison?
No, you get like a sausage roll.
But my pie's not £6.
That's what I mean, yeah. And therefore, we're naturally going to look, aren't we, as fans, at the only things where there's a direct comparison. So if there's a pie at Goodison and it's £4, and there's a pie at Bramley Moor and it's £6, the question inevitably is, why is that then?
Well, maybe Gordon Ramsay's made them at Bramley Moor.
Well, it's Jamie Oliver at the Etihad, isn't it? And they have perhaps the most expensive burgers on the planet there, if they still do them at that price. But it's understanding what the objective is here, right? And clearly the prices are too high. Rob,
1878 EFC, loved it yesterday, but the club shouldn't need telling that £4.50 for a small can of Corona is a joke.
There you go.
David Barlow says, food too expensive for what you get, £10 for a few chips and 3 small chicken strips.
Well, there's about portion sizes then, so it's not even big portions.
Bap says he had the Korean chicken strips. It was £10.50, but he said it was worth every penny.
Well, there you go.
Nice 35-minute walk to there. Other people said 20. Danny Church walked into town. It took 25 minutes.
That's about right, yeah.
Robert Norfolk says, "Hi, gents, keep up the brilliant work that you do. I went to the Testament yesterday and I was blown away how fantastic it was. Can't wait to get there and have my season ticket in the East Stand upper." Emma says they can't keep it at £4.50. 330ml Corona. No one will stay. No, they won't. And Toffee says they are a bit expensive though, but not giving people incentives to stay after the game. If that's the price, it's too dear. £4.50 for a small Corona. Nah.
If anyone's watching who bought beers, did they have any draft beer? Because again, they would presumably expect or hope to get lower prices if it was draft, but don't know where that's at.
Emma wants a coffee outlet. Said the coffee was horrible.
Well, Costa or Starbucks type, rather than
Sophie says, what's mad about food pricing? It's the same everywhere. I think it's insane. Cinema charges £5 for a hot dog, just to rip you off. That's all it is. But there you go. £6 should be getting a pie, chips and a can of soft drink, says MB. $6.20 for a pie is a rip-off. That should be the price for a pie and a soft drink, says Phil. I think he's right. I think it's...
Just so?
Yeah. Danny went to a pub in town for a burger and a pint. Saved money on what Everton charge. Steve Williams, £4.50 for a small stubby can of Corona. Won't happen again, though. So, it depends what you want, doesn't it? Toffee Blue says the beer will increase in April.
So it'll be more than a £5 a pint anyway at Everton. And then it'll be £7.50, Jacob thinks, once the season starts.
That won't
with inflation
work,
and stuff,
will it?
so...
Yeah.
I don't
Inflation doesn't make beer £7.50.
No.
I don't know.
What's a beer at Goodison? Do you know?
I don't buy it, you see, so I'm
No,
not...
I don't,
all
so-
I'm saying is I know a lot of people do, though, so
Yeah,
it's like you've
yeah.
got to be able... I don't mind. Again, I don't buy it, so it's not me, but my opinion is they should have 3 sort of levels, maybe,
Of
of
course they
beer. Then
should,
have
yeah.
one that's
Price
like...
points, yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
crap one, but, you know, one that people will go, I don't mind paying that.
Yeah.
And then you can have a £6 pint if it's I don't know, a good beer that people go, yeah, but that is, you know, that's a £5 in the pub, so I'll pay an extra £1. I'll have one of them because it's a good beer or whatever. I feel like they should have the same to food. No problem with them doing £10 food. The portion has got to be more than 3 chips and 3 chicken strips.
Absolutely.
That's nonsense. Have something if you want. That's I don't know, a gourmet meal if you want for
well,
whatever.
gourmet
You go,
burgers
all
type
right.
thing, yeah.
Have something that's like £7.50 or something where you go, that's all right, that's not bad. And maybe have something that's a pie, £4.50 or something.
You've got to have different price points.
You
It's
can't be
simple as that,
going,
yeah.
no, this is how much it's. Well, you wanted a new stadium. Well, no, we wanted a better team. You haven't been able to give us that either. So you give us a good stadium that we all have had to pay a fortune to get in, and we have. Give us better options. Raise the pricing on a little bit. You can get, I wonder if you put more seats in at a very little cost and got the money from them, whether you'd make more than hammering us for pies and that. Probably far easier, but no, because that's too intelligent to put more seats in and get more people in. So hopefully that'll be getting looked at, because right now it's scandalous.
And there's one more test event before it's real, isn't there?
But that'll be the week before the season starts.
Yeah, that's
so
what I
that'll
mean.
be real. They'll be the
That's what I
real.
mean.
It'll be called a test event, but that'll be real.
And the same, by that definition, the same applies for all the infrastructure and transport challenges. You're not getting another go at it until it's real. Right? So go on radio or something and answer all the questions about what's planned. But the reality is, it's when the rubber hits the ground, we'll know, won't we? And
They're two different things, though, aren't they, at the end of the day? These are two different things. These are, obviously, the travel things are one thing, and the what happens inside the ground is another thing.
But they're supposed to be cohesive.
No, but they're not, though, are they?
No.
Because the travel thing isn't really in Everton's hands at all. And the things that happen inside the stadium are completely in Everton's hands. So Steve Rodham can go on the radio tomorrow and take those questions. Are Everton actually listening to these questions that are being asked? Hopefully the fans forum and the FAB will ask these questions and get an opportunity to put these things across. Because one thing I will say about Steve Rodham, he is listening, because there's meetings. I know there's people who've been in meetings with him. Yeah. So he is listening. Whether he does anything is another thing.
Well, whether he's able to.
Yeah. But Everton need to be listening. They need to be listening to this feedback.
Of course,
and this is not us hitting them over the head and going, this is a disgrace. This is good feedback. This is the kind of thing people people like to talk like this stadium is in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around it and it's a barren area. 5-minute walk. There's a Greggs and a Chippy. Greggs doesn't cost £6 for a pie. So people I'm saying, so people can go to Greggs.
The options.
The hot walk's going to be over the road.
That's right.
But a lot of people, like me, I want to give my money to Everton Football Club.
Of course you do.
But if that means buying something I don't actually want to eat in the first place, then I won't do it.
But the business case, call it what you will, has to be get people inside the wall as early pre-kick-off as you can. Right? That makes travel and infrastructure less stressed because it's more spread out.
Yeah.
Take their money off them.
Yeah.
And they think that, whether they think it's a bit too dear or whatever, it's in the right ballpark. That's all you're asking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right ballpark.
Yeah.
And then, guess what? At the other end of the game, literally, after the game, people will hang around. Particularly if you fancy a beer or whatever, you think, I'll have a quick beer because if I go on the road now, I'm just going to be queuing up, so why wouldn't I?
Have a coffee or whatever.
Let's call it a drink then rather than beer, hang around for a little bit. Again, less stress on the transport and infrastructure systems. So they do have to be cohesive.
Yeah, that's true, John. Fair point. Good
you
point.
have to join them up. It's a supply chain at the end of the day where the target is watching a football
You've got the
match.
opportunity to make a bit more money and do it that way.
Now, the shocking thing is, forget the foodie things because we're running test events and stuff, is that when Ped says, you know, the station isn't good enough, big enough, whatever, right? There won't be anyone watching this who disagrees right now. But then you tag on, I know it's going to take 5 to 10 years to fix it. Whoa. Well, we've had 3 to 5 years of getting ready for this stadium to be built. So, and there's lots of guys out there and ladies and stuff who looked at planning applications which had transport stories in them and all that sort of stuff and said that, just like at Kirby and all that sort of stuff, the weakest part of it was the transport. It remains the weakest part of it. And the poor Liverpool City Region Mayor is firefighting and has been for a couple of weeks. He's probably had a week off and now he's having to do it again because there's been another test event. But then it'll go deathly quiet for months until perhaps it all raises its head again when 50-odd thousand people come through those gates. It's mad. Right, absolutely mad. And some of those things are not fixable. Can't fix the station, can you? In the next 6 months?
No. Well, there is a plan to put a new bridge in.
Yeah, that's
so no, I know, but
sticking plaster stuff, isn't it?
No, I know. I'm saying that I don't know how that will speed up.
No.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
you're not going to increase the capacity of the stadium.
No,
in
the problem with the
station.
The problem with the stadium is that the station is getting people on and off the platform. That's the problem. There's only one way in and there's one way out. It's a joke. They need to create another way in.
Right.
Straight away. And that's the first thing they need to do. And because that's the problem. There's one ramp. It wasn't built. It wasn't built for a stadium with 50,000 stadium. It's a quiet station. It's a quiet station on a normal day. You know, there's very little around there. It was never a busy station. So it needs looking at straight off the bat.
But what people, us as fans, right, will naturally accuse they who make decisions is you've had years upon years of knowing it's going to stop being a quiet station and become perhaps every couple of weeks the busiest station in the city.
Well, Rotherham admitted it himself though, didn't he? Rotherham admitted it. He said until Everton's new owners came in, we didn't know this was going to actually happen.
That was foolish.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. He admitted himself. You could think that, but you don't admit it.
Yeah.
But he admitted it. And the minute he said that made... I mean, if I was Everton, I'd be like, how inept are you? It's been getting built. Therefore, it's been there. And as I said, these problems, once the season start, might go away. But I tell you now, wait till the first big artist is playing there. And you've got to take people from outside the city or people who don't go to football.
Or in 3 years' time, there's a pan-European competition
that's what I'm saying.
Taking place.
But soon as you've got non-football fans, though, going to that area,
it's different.
It becomes very, very different. Very different. And that's when he'll become massively under pressure because then you get the mums and dads then. Football fans are hardened. We take what we're given.
We're used to being treated badly.
Exactly. But, you know, the mums and dads of their kids who were already...
To pick Harry up, who's been watching...
No, but the mums and dads who were already a little bit like, a football stadium, or we haven't been to this environment before. Suddenly that's... And then those kids, there's pictures and videos. When there's videos of grown men on a platform and it's a little bit tight, people go, that's football, isn't it? When it's kids and there's a danger of one of those kids falling onto the track, then it becomes something a little bit different.
It does.
And that's where, again... You've got to get a plan in place. They've got to get a plan in place, and it can't be a bridge and a queuing system because it isn't like Aintree. It's like Aintree. It's not. Aintree happens 3 days a year.
Yeah,
and it's genuinely the weather's all right, and it doesn't finish in the dark. Most people, certainly on Grand National Day, some people will leave when the Grand National's finished, or they'll go then wait. Or they'll go, and sometimes it is a bit of a staggered thing, and it's not too bad because you can
go
exactly.
Well,
you can still drink. You can still drink. Aintree will stay open, and because it's more of a drinking occasion than a sporting occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a social occasion.
So it's
Anyway,
Meanwhile, the
Steve
stadium
Williams.
is absolutely magnificent.
Steve Williams took me and my lad 20 minutes to walk from James Street to the ground. Well happy with that.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, is it?
By the way, the North Stand's fantastic. The seats in the North Stand are fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good view of the ground.
Cracking view.
Really good view. Anyone who's got a ticket there, honest.
You picked well.
The only issue is you've got stairs. You've got stairs to walk up.
I bumped into Ped when we were making our journey to the south, deliberately, as in he didn't see me, so I bumped him.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing he said was, "Stairs? What's that all about? Stairs?"
From the South Stand's got escalators.
We've got escalators.
Yeah, that's why he said.
We've got escalators.
But there's
They've got...
nowhere near as bad as Newcastle. Come on, it's
No, I mean,
4
it's
or
2
5
flights of stairs, but you know, I've been having a busy morning. My legs were.
I've got stairs in the Bullen, so mine is. And straight up.
I know.
Rubbish.
I'd had a busy morning.
Rubbish.
It was
Running around all morning, weren't you?
Stairs are just
Getting
like
things done.
Stairs weren't the
collecting
thing I
medals.
wanted at that moment. So, but no, the North End, yeah, it looks all right. It looks all right. Never got an opportunity. Did you walk round, John? Did you walk round?
Only from the north west corner,
Yeah.
right round to the south east corner. Basically, from where I was.
And how
sat,
did you find that?
easy?
Yeah.
I mean, once you get out of the narrower confined to the north stand,
Yeah.
obviously it opens up on the east stand, and when you get to the corner,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah.
So, and we're chuffed where our seats are, because we'll come out the little exit thing, concession-y things right in front of us, and the toilets are there as well. So, you ain't going to wonder.
Yeah,
far.
that was a good. The North End's a good. North Stand's a good spec.
It
Good
is.
spec.
The seats are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good spec that. So anyone who's got one, and I know it's a lot of the newer season ticket holders will have that.
Yeah, because they would have gone last with picks.
I
Yeah.
think you've actually got a good, by accident, but I think you've got a good spec there.
And the upper tier is only small, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the glass, isn't it?
Yeah.
Josh says, afternoon, guys, seen a few images shared of the concourses in certain parts, very rammed at half time. Is this simply because people didn't spread out as they should? Or is it actually too small for the capacity?
I think it's like everything else, and I think Dan Mike's made a really good point. He was on Sky, and he said, for the first couple of games, people are just looking round and
That's true.
staring, and are not like
They were, yeah.
not doing what they're actually supposed to do, which is you go down, you go to the toilet, or you get something to eat. There's a lot of like, a lot of people's necks will be hurting today,
Yeah.
from just looking round and stuff. And I think that'll be the case for like 3 or 4 games in, because at the moment it's very raw. There's still a couple of people were saying to me, your shoes will be covered in dust today if you went to match,
a lot of
concrete dust.
yeah.
So Everton's job now is to get the whole to Evertonise the whole stadium as quickly as they can,
Yeah.
because it's quite bland.
It is.
And within the stadium, the bowl itself, to put, whether it's LED things and the bridge between the lower of the south and the upper of the south, they've got to do something with that. Just got to get rid of all that grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of all that grey. But I think,
It'd be nice to come out and say what they're going to do, wouldn't it?
on a lot of things.
Yeah.
On a lot of things.
I mean,
but I just think that
They must have plans,
Yeah.
because the next season will be on us before we know it.
Yeah.
And if they haven't even thought through or decided what they're going to do with, say, the South Stand bit, which sticks out, doesn't it, as a big, remember when it was getting built? Oh, when people are stood up, you won't see it. Well, you do, actually,
Of course you do.
because it's taller than people.
That's the worst.
It's taller than people.
Worst explanation I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's true.
But so. And
it stands out with the grey massively.
yeah,
It
but you
needs
could
to
make
be-
that a massive
terrible.
engagement opportunity. Ask the fans what they want. Do you just want
do
to paint it blue?
Stop
do you want,
painting
do you want
blue.
people? Do you want banners?
Oh,
What do you-
John, no, stop.
Just paint it
asking
blue.
fans.
Just paint
Be
it.
adults.
Just
Go.
paint it the
We're
same
doing
colour
it.
as the seat.
Doesn't
You've
it
got
take longer
no
by
input
asking people?
whatsoever.
Just
You
paint.
don't deserve
I'd take
input.
the engagement.
No, I wouldn't. I'd take
No.
the engagement possibly for the interior of like what people want to see on the
Yeah,
walls.
not in the
But for the inside of the ground,
Just paint it
LED screen things all the way around, and then for that wall, just
Well,
paint it.
me and Baz were talking about this earlier on, because did you say you had a recollection they weren't going to put
They
them
weren't
in?
putting them in. But I don't know whether that's
It'll be the only stadium in the country.
That's cheap. That would be cheap.
Yeah.
Of the club. It needs that grey needs to all be eliminated.
Yeah.
And LED things would be brilliant, because you could put adverts up, but you could also put Archibald Leach up as well.
Yeah,
Like
that's
just
true,
prior
yeah.
to the game, you
Oh, if you
could kick
wanted
off.
it,
You could just
yeah,
put that up, so that.
No, like what they do at the Etihad, they put the all the supporters groups flags on
Yeah.
those as well.
Well, maybe.
You know.
But the south stand, that just needs to be painted the same colour as the seats, so that it looks like one stand, because it looks like there's a divider in. We know there's a divider. We know why there's a divider. But paint it bloody blue and make
And the bits on the ends as well.
yeah, just paint it blue so it looks like one stand.
Yeah.
That's it. You told it was going to be the biggest stand in blah blah blah. But it's not. It's not continuous because there's a wall there. So paint the wall blue at least.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they are. I'm sure Everton Football Club are.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Just tell us,
If
though.
that's what they're going to do,
tell us.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tell us.
Simple.
Because we're all whinge bags by nature. So just
We
give us one
want it
less thing
look
to
a bit
whinge
more-
about.
I just don't want to see grey everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it looks ridiculous. But, Mike says, could be an issue with the bridge walking back into the city centre at full capacity. Had to let people go in small groups. People yesterday in good spirits, but might be different if it's raining and after we've lost. Other than
Avoid
that,
it.
first time at the new stadium, it was brilliant. The siren and Z cars sounded incredible.
Yeah.
Loud that Anna, isn't it?
It's too loud on it.
It's so loud.
Because when they were doing the emergency exit thing in the concourse area, which where I happened to be at the
It's-
time, you could barely understand it was so loud. But
It's so loud. Just turn it
works.
down a little
Yeah.
cup. Just turn it down from 11.
Gavin says, loved how it looked. Again, only on YouTube, unfortunately. Can't wait till it's got more Everton branding. Did anyone
True.
see how the French did the stairs on the stands last night? Had them in blue. Hopefully we can do something similar with the concrete steps. Josh said the kits behind you was superb. What I'd give for a shirt sponsor that isn't an ugly gambling site. Paul says, I was back home at Hunts Cross by 4:20 and I left the ground at 3:35. No problem at Sandhills for us as train to Hunts Cross was coming in. Good. Ian says, afternoon lads, aren't the weekends boring without Premier League football? That was nice. Jake said, cannot wait for the first Premier League game at the new stadium. It'll be fully completed and all the small details filled in, and a full noisy ground will make the world of difference. Paul,
Silent yesterday, as you might imagine.
Was it?
Yeah.
it's why I didn't want to go to either. I only want to watch the first team in there.
Wasn't
No
enough
interest.
noise to even get a feel for what it might be like. So
Why
that's
would
good.
it ever be?
Well, it won't, will it? But that's why that first full capacity one, which will be the first team, presumably, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone who's in the ground that day will be most fortunate, I think. So
Well, that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the real first.
that's the real first game.
event.
Yeah.
Peter says beer for £4.50 for 330 mils is shocking. Nathan, who's in our studio from Australia, says, I've now started collecting Everton past and present player card. Did you guys ever do anything similar? The stadium looks stunning. We'll have had them in the past, Nate, but obviously a man of my
50
age
years ago,
isn't
yeah.
really got, well, not 50 years ago. Maybe for you, John, not for me, but I
All right,
wouldn't be having them,
45,
you know. Dave Witch says train suspended for 30 minutes with a suicidal male walking on
Yeah,
the
that didn't
track
help. Yeah.
with suspended trains. Found the crowd management zone useful
Yeah.
and staff helpful, keeping us all up to date. The stress on the trains and the ripple effect on trains hopefully have evidenced the need for park rides to the likes of North Liverpool, Kirkdale Station, Bankhill Station, but all have been suggested. More importantly, hope the fella who was being searched for on the track ended up getting help, correct? Some good opportunities now, in my opinion, to work on improvements that need to be made. Plenty more to do, but that's all an opportunity. Any useful suggestions or feedback, feel free to email me, david.witcherly@evertonsfansforum.com, and I'll pick it up. Thanks, lads. Good talk. I used a train, bar a small weight, it was okay, but also walk.
We'll put that in the
town.
description.
It's better
won't we?
to find the problems out now, isn't it?
Of course.
It's better to find the problems. And as I said, my journey into town was absolutely fine.
Good,
Absolutely fine. Although they could have done with a few more announcements at Liverpool Central to tell you that the train, it was going to. There was like, I think she mentioned it once. It was the Headbolt Lane, which used to be it used to be Kirby in old money, and I haven't been on a train, one of the newer trains. I think they could have done with saying this is the train to Everton's new stadium,
Oh, okay.
you know, or this is the train to Headbolt Lane. Also calling at Sandhill Station for Everton's new stadium.
Yes.
You know, constant information to just keep people, rather than people being again going, is that the train word and word that's it, looking for people and all that kind of thing. So
Well, it's all part of
that's
this
all what
feed.
part.
They have displays on the train, yeah? Say next stop is.
Not that I saw, but
Okay.
he might have. But he
If
might.
they do, that's the thing.
No,
to
that they
update,
might
isn't it?
have.
Stand hills for Everton.
But it's that thing of getting on the right train, isn't it? People aren't used to it. It's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
making sure that
Yeah.
people understand that that train is going to that place for people who are not sure. But apart from that, as I said, I got on a little bit later. I walked across from Lime Street. It was very easy. Got on the train. Got the again, the price of the tickets, just unbelievable. Honestly.
And the train.
Insane. It's 2 stops. It was like £6
No
for 2 of
way.
us for the singles. Really? Honestly?
Is
Like
that 'cause
£5.20 or
Is that
something.
because it's a flat fee?
It should be 80 pence back in the day.
Is that
What's
because
going
it's a
on?
flat fee?
You
I don't know. Pay so much and
honestly.
go where
The
you want.
smackheads, when I was a ticket
I
inspector,
thought you were going to say when I was a
the
smackhead.
smackheads used to say they got on at Sandhills just because it was 80 pence. So that's a little bit pricey, that for me.
Mad.
I know, it is.
£6 each.
No, but
£3.
that's 2 stops.
No.
It's 2 stops.
People will just be wanting to know how much it is.
Yeah.
So how much was it?
It's like, for the 2 of us, I think it was £5.20.
And it cost me £6 to park.
It's like, yeah. It's
You know,
like
so
2
there was 4 of us.
stops.
No way am I going.
And I
on
know
the train,
people
am
will
I?
go. Oh, it's only 5. But
It all adds
it all
up.
adds up, doesn't it? It all adds up. You're trying to find ways to get in. You're trying to find ways to get. We went to Germany once. You got your train ticket with your match ticket. No, that's never going to happen in this country because it's full of capitalist pigs. But you know, that's just not going to happen here. But I was just said shocked because I haven't been on a train for ages. But it all adds up. It really does all add up.
The pricing inside the ground, inside the walls, got to be right as well.
Of course.
Gray Lead says the transport and dispersal issues will improve when they start building on Nelson Dock and all of the vacant dock sites are built on. And that could be years away though. 20 years, who knows? The current transport links are not even substandard. They're the absolute pits. All of the major cities in Europe have much better transport. Yeah, of course they do. Manchester's much better. Ian says, mate of mine went yesterday, £3.50 for a donut, £6.30 for a pie and £12 for chips.
Chips was something else.
Terry McKenna says, Mersey Travel makes £7 million profit from the Mersey tunnels. Why not use that to build a new
They've
stadium?
just gone up. £2.10.
Jonathan
That's written
says,
down now, isn't it, as well? I think. Sorry. Beg your pardon, mate.
it's all right. Jonathan says, love seeing the stadium. Yes, they see Mr. Blaine in the North Stand also. The parking was fine. I parked in Prince's multi-storey. My biggest issue was getting there as road down to 1 lane due to road closure. But a nice walk in the spring and summer, but winter will be crap. Plenty of empty ground around the stadium for parking. If really needed, someone could make a fortune. You've got to own it, really, haven't you? Adam says, is there any chance of us being able to buy our seats at Goodison? I appreciate it's still uncertain for what it's being used after we move. I really don't like the idea of people ripping seats out on the final game, as some are saying they will. Surely there'll be more demand for these seats than those watches. Maybe. Peter Finn says, I spoke to a steward yesterday. Apparently we're going to buy the land from the water company. Don't think we can.
The water treatment plant might have something to
Don't-
say about
I
that.
don't think we can.
No.
The other side, yeah. Jake says, the only issue I have with test events, I was sat in the lower north yesterday and my season ticket is in the upper south. So I'm not formalising myself with the area. In all fairness, Jake, you didn't have to go. I know my seats are in the east lower and I've not bothered with either, so you're just getting to see it, aren't you, if that's what you really want to do. I wanted my first experience to be a real thing.
When it's full.
It's just a real game. No, I'm not interested in watching an under 21 team or an under 18. When I go in, I want it to go, wow, this is real, not just, yeah, I'm not really that bothered. Each to their own. But
You
you've got,
missed a wow yesterday, yeah. But
No,
not
I
a big
didn't.
wow.
no. Or if I've missed anything, mate, my experience will be my experience. When I go in, it's full and there's real footballers playing. That's when I'll get the experience. Otherwise, you can go to any ground. That's Hartlepool play and get a wow. Chris says, afternoon, lads. For a few seconds yesterday, the crowd sang a little. It was pretty loud. Just think how it'll be when it's at full capacity. Jez says, aren't these the old caterers anyway?
No, it's
Also,
the new
I'll
ones.
happily take anyone's ticket who finds the logistics of getting to the ground a bit annoying.
No,
Frank,
it's the new ones.
we were in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
It's not very inspiring then, is it? Frank says, my son and I loved the whole experience yesterday and managed to check out our season ticket seats in the North Stand upper, our first ever season tickets, and sat in the South Stand upper, and every view was amazing. The plaza is huge, and the food stands were fish and chips, two Indian stands, and a pizza place. That was amazing. Served quickly, but 2 pizzas at £13 each and a can of pop for £2. £30 seems steep.
Just a bit. Yeah.
Brandon says, think they will maybe better not allowing anyone sitting in the north half of the stadium to come through entrance A of the wall, the most southern entrance closest to the city centre. Seems to be stupidly overcrowded compared to the other 4 wall openings, B, C, D and E.
I came in the other end because we came off the train, so we came off the other end.
Fair play, Brandon.
But again, these would be the things that people find out, isn't it? It's people will at least quite a few people would have been there yesterday. It would have been their first time, wouldn't they? They don't know where they're going. They see the first gate. They're coming in from the town side. They're just going to walk in, aren't they?
Just experience of farming people down. If you're in that, go down to the next one.
Yeah, I went to where it said on the email that I got. So if that was the stadium, sent me here to get in, and the steward said, "Nah, this road's closed today, so you have to walk all the way around." So the south concourse behind, outside the south stand was mega busy because half of it's fenced off anyway for the bricks or whatever it is they're putting down. So everything was not quite.
Yeah, it's not going to. It's the whole idea.
All that'll be far more open.
Yeah. The whole idea is just to learn what the teething problems are, isn't it? Buck says, I had the privilege to go yesterday with the accessibility seat, and I must say that Everton have exceeded themselves. I did not go through any turnstile or negotiate any stairs, and I never took my radar key, so I used the normal toilets, which was the only slight negative, being only a few urinals. The whole experience was brilliant. I told my personal assistant it was up there with all the teams. I have a brand new stadium, and this being our third. The price of stuff did not bother me, as it was a pleasure making a contribution towards our next purchase of the Nelson Dock. The match was okay. It was a well-taken goal. When we exited the ground, we stumbled on a beer garden, had one drink, and went home. Excellent day. Good.
Signposted the beer garden.
A few people have said there's not enough toilets. I don't know if that's a thing or it isn't a thing. I don't know, but I've heard a few
each
people
individual
saying,
toilet isn't huge, but there's lots of them.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. James, me and my lad went to Blackstock Market before for food and drink. We sat in the south lower, didn't realise how steep it is compared to the rest of the ground. It was a carve killer. Getting back down to the concourse was rubbish. Only enough room for virtually one person up or down the stairs lead to the concourse. Then the concourse was rammed at half time, but the toilets were dead. Okay. Mixed reviews. Jake says, get a pie for £2 or £3 in the chippy and take it in my pocket instead. Corona 330ml can, by the way, which they were given to people to pour. Slat says, I got the loaded fries. They were nice, but the portion size was poor. They came in the same size tray as the donut. Dave Witch says, different parts of the ground with different food, burger and chips is available. I don't think that was communicated well, however, and I'm assured this won't be the end pricing, but reflects small test batches. I agree on pricing, as you both know. I'm meeting the club on Thursday and shall be re-echoing all of this. Well done, Dave.
Good man.
Jay Radcliffe said, there's a cracking reel doing the rounds showing Everton's relegation escapes to the soundtrack of Rocky and the power of the fans. Looks like a very young ped at the beginning. It probably is if it's the 94 one.
It is.
Because it's from the Gladys Street. It is. Yeah. Like last few, Jack says, feedback from me, the stadium is fantastic. The fan plaza has so much potential. The test food hasn't impressed me. Same things you've said there. They sold soft drinks yesterday as pints on the screens, which made me think it would be draft Pepsi, etc. But it was bottles. Simple things like that are amateur. Surely
I don't think they've got the lines in yet. They haven't got the lines in for the beers or the Coke. It's all the same stuff, isn't it?
Okay. Simple things like that are amateur. Surely someone at the club spotted such a simple mistake. The spacing at the top of the staircase is somehow smaller than Goodison. One person can pass at a time when turning at the top of the stairs. I thought the entire lower could get around the ground and mix with other stands, but from block 01 to block 012, its own section. So that's disappointing. I'm not sure if it's due to open up or not, but from a stadium point of view, when it's full, it'll look unbelievable.
The only way you can get all the way around is on level 2. So if you're on lower than that, you can't.
It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? really. But there you go. Phil said, did anyone notice how much it was for a Bovril?
No.
Michael says, I won't be paying those prices again. It was a one-off and I had my kids with me. 10th Street and the Invisible Win Factory are there on the way back. Dave says, draft not fitted yet.
$2.75 for a Bovril.
There you go, £2.75. Noted all of this down. We'll come back on and feedback once you get answers.
Good
I
man,
believe the
Dave.
price of the pies is way too high.
God.
The most expensive in the Premier League, which is ludicrous. Doesn't surprise me, Dave. It's us. Michael says the beer price was for half a can on Corona. Okay. Brian says if the club sent a questionnaire out to those who attended to get feedback, no idea. John Woods says seen people on Twitter sharing photos of the gap between the touchline and the east and west stands. Do those stands feel far from the pitch when in the ground?
No.
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 Okay. James said it's not 3 years yet, John. It was 8 years to the day on Sunday since they announced the stadium.
No, 3 to 5 years building the damn thing.
And they still haven't got it right.
But apparently the Metro Mayor didn't think it was going to get finished.
It's
So
nonsense.
hey ho.
Not Everton, by the way, the Liverpool City Council.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Metro Mayor.
absolutely.
Brian, there should be a control system of allowing the correct number of passengers onto the platforms, a queue for each destination outside Sandhills, thereby allowing only the relevant passengers onto the platform. Paul says, I'm in the north, season ticket holder for over 40 years, but picked a great seat, end of a row by an exit, third row. Excellent. Glenn, John, take or pay. There's no other way. Business blame. Just looking at the Fanatics page for Everton products, there are 433 Everton products available for reference. Spurs has 206, Arsenal 234, Chelsea 718. Beyond take or pay deals. No, that's on Friday, Glenn. Mike says, sat in the upper west stand and the seats were incredible. Tom S says, all the toilets in the upper south yesterday had no hand towels before kick-off and no hand dryers. There's no hand dryers?
Never noticed.
Thought that was a bit poor. Not sure if they can do anything about that before the start
That's
of
a
the
bit
season.
odd. Going paper towels rather than hand dryers or
That's
both.
weird. Eddie says, sounds like y'all getting American prices at the stadium. When I go to events here, I spend $100 to $200 every time.
Yeah.
Every other week, though. Because people aren't going to. People can't afford it. This is Liverpool, by the way, which we need to remember, which I think some people at the club have forgotten. Emma witnessed a very touching moment yesterday. Two old guys, probably in their 80s, hugging outside the stadium. One said, what a day this is. Did you ever think we'd live to see this day? I nearly cried. Belter. And Peter says, I spoke to... I've done that one. There you go. I mean, overall, stadium and all that sounds fantastic. One or two things which haven't not been in it yet, because I haven't got my shirt on. Sounds a little bit worrying, I'll be honest.
Which bits?
No hand dryers and toilets.
Yeah, it seems a bit odd, that,
It's
yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
I find that astonishing. Not enough bins, no paper towels.
Yeah, bins was an issue.
Pricing, not very good. These are all worrying aspects. The other side, it sounds fantastic.
All those can be fixed. Yeah. Train station, harder. Yeah. Much harder.
Sophie says, Sky reporting Jared Branthwaite once out.
They're not. Sophie,
That's
they're not
just
reporting that
nonsense.
at all.
Sophie,
They're not reporting that, though.
No.
What are they reporting?
They're reporting that Jared Branthwaite is looking at his future because he's not in the England squad. There's a lot of ifs, buts and nonsense. It's a Monday and there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. But that's what, I mean, Ken says the same. Just on now, Branthwaite considering his future. But he will do. If he thinks he should be playing for England and he's playing for Everton, the bottom of the league, and not getting in, he will want out. Or he'll have a look and go, right, I probably have to move to get in. Then that's okay. Come with a big pot of money, you can have him. It's no problem, is it? It's football.
Yeah.
Isn't it? We're going to be trying to buy players at other clubs. You can't have a cob on, can we?
No.
There's no point. You know, it's a fact. If you play for a team that's near the bottom of the league, not really going to get in the England
It's
squad.
a bit harder to get in, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, if you go, you know, Quansah doesn't play for Liverpool and he's in the squad. So it's poor management from Tuchel. But that's football, isn't it? James says the stadium looks amazing outside, but felt slightly underwhelmed once I was inside. Small concourse, narrow entrance up to the north stand lower, and not much legroom. Yeah. So, I mean, everyone will have.
That's the smallest concourse area up there. So he's right. So you were you on the front row in the north stand?
No,
'Cause you're a big lad. What was leg room? Right.
absolutely fine.
Okay. Because I was on the front row and got loads of room, which was good.
That's it.
Absolutely fine.
Sophie says, I'm sick of us selling our best players. No wonder we're at the bottom.
We haven't sold him.
Strength and honour.
Sold anyone?
We
though?
haven't
Strength
sold
and
him.
honour says sick of losing our better players.
Well, we haven't lost anyone though. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Jesus, honest to God. We're our own worst enemies.
It was only a few weeks ago he was signing a new contract, wasn't it?
I know, people need to
That was Sky, wasn't it, saying that? Yeah.
No, well, this is the thing, isn't it? The thing about it is Sky will peddle anything, won't they? Because they've got to find news. Last week, Branthwaite was ready to sign a new contract.
Yeah.
So this could have come from anywhere. This could be getting fed from Manchester United. Oh, I know him. And he wants to join United, so he wants out because he hasn't got in the England squad.
And,
But they can't.
if United have said 30 million tops.
Well, they can't give you any good reason why he would want to go to Manchester United
No.
from a football perspective, because they are abysmal
Yeah.
at the moment. So you'd have to use the sort of England thing, don't you? But listen, there's no point cry-arsing. This is people who back Sean Dyche. Well, this is what you get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a different model now. There's
Yeah.
new owners have come in. The David Moyes is in. We haven't lost in 9 games. We're safe. We're building for the future. So you've got to just go, right, just chill. Just get through it. It's up to, my argument would be, it's up to Jared Branthwaite to play better. David Moyes said it last week. Play better. Get it. Why aren't
Make
you
it
in?
so they can't. Not
Hang on,
pick
am
it.
I right? He didn't even get in the under-21 side the other day,
No,
did
he
he?
didn't know.
So there's you there. So
And then he
stop.
conceded 5.
Well, that's okay. But maybe Jared Branthwaite, if it is coming from him, should have a look in the mirror and go, oh yeah, when were Everton keeping clean sheets? Because we haven't kept a clean sheet for weeks, and he plays. He's playing in that team. Is he not?
I think so, yeah.
So, you know,
Eliminate unforced errors.
just start
Stay on top of your
playing
game
well,
all the
Jared.
time. Yeah.
Start playing well, so everybody's banging the drum that you have to play. That's your job. Do you know what I mean? And that's his. Do your job, man. You know, that's one of them, isn't it? Gotta just relax and go. And if it's come from football inside it, then get in the bin if you're eating the pizza. Right?
It's Sky, apparently, isn't it?
I know, and I know you're passionate, and I know that you're one of them fans that you'll read something and it'll get to you. You've got to just relax a little bit and go, he's under contract for another 2 years, I think it is. So he can't just go. If someone comes in with a £90 million offer, Everton might go, yeah, let's sell
Everton
him.
knocked back
But
big offers in one of the worst summers ever
exactly.
financially.
So they're not going to
We've got to
take
just
a low ball now,
We've got
are
to
they?
just relax, haven't we? We've got to just relax and go, right. Ped says it all the time, start matching the players. Then, if he's moaning, go, it's all right, mate, you're not going nowhere. But we're buying players and we're going to be up the top. And you know, if you don't get in the first couple of England squads, I'll accept it. But it's up to you. Do your bit. Be unbelievable. Keep clean sheets. Have players in your pocket. And then the narrative will get spread that you must be in the next England squad. That's all he can do. He's got to control his own destiny. He's come back after this break, plays so well that the squads Tuchel picks at the end of the season for England, he has to be in them. He can't not be in any squads because he's playing that well. That's all he can do.
Just don't be in the tournament. Get left out the tournament
No, but that's
squad.
it, isn't it? That's
You
it.
know, these 2 games now, which are nothing games almost. Don't worry about it.
We just got to go, look, relax.
You're resisting to go, calm down, calm down.
No, but it is. if we lose our heads over every story, then we're never going to get out the cycle that we've been in, are we?
Be like Kev.
Got to just go.
Kev's cool.
We've
at
got
the
to just
moment.
go, right? We've got to start buying players in the summer that make Everton Football Club better. Moyes has done a brilliant job with what we've got. The lads, the players themselves
Upgrade
have done a great
time,
job
Yeah.
lately of digging in and getting us results. We need quality. And doing that and developing will be a better team. Therefore, all eyes will be on you and you'll be back in the England team.
It's an easy sell.
Because you've been left out for these two nonsense games. Who cares? Who cares? He's put Colwell in and he's put...
Players who
Quansah
you know
in
and
and
everyone else knows you're better than are in this squad. He's just looking at them, you know. Hey ho, don't worry, fans. Don't worry.
Strengthen on it. No one's being hilarious at all. Talking through it. Your point doesn't actually mean anything there. You've done it 2 hours on why Dean was a bad sell. Well, we didn't. Did we? We done about 20 minutes because the video was clipped up there. We've got to just move forward, haven't we? If Jared Brantwaite genuinely wants to leave Everton, then you can't do nothing about that, can you?
No.
If the player really wants out, you have to just go, okay, we'll sell you then. But there's no indication.
At our price.
There's no indication right now until he comes out and asks for a transfer that he wants out. No, I haven't heard anything about Mikalenko other than he went off injured with a thigh. I think Harry said he's got a thigh injury. I'd seen he'd gone off. If it's a thigh injury and it's not a good thigh injury, as in it's properly pulled, then he might be out for a month or so. But if it's just he's felt something and he's got off quickly before there's been any sort of, any sort of seriousness to it, then we'll deal with it. Ashley Young will have to come in. We haven't got a left back other than Mikalenko, have we? And that'll be, I think, something the manager will be trying to address in the summer as well, because not having more than one left back is nonsense, really.
It's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, so that'll be where we're up to. Right, there you go. It's overall good experience, I think. Lots of talking points, lots of stuff gone in, food for thought, literally for Everton. All the people who are, doing the pricing. As Dave Witch said, he'll take a lot of that back to Everton later on in the week, and hopefully that they'll get it right when it opens, and that's all that matters really. These events are certainly for this reason, so that they go right. We tried this. We feel that this is being the right thing. This pricing's right, whatever price is right, and all that.
Yeah, you're right. And there's some good news stories, because Phil, if you're still watching Phil, Ped's talking about people finding their way. He must have found his way, because he said he got to Sandhills at 4 o'clock. He got on the home train at 9 minutes past, and he was in Maghull by 4:30. So that's like bang, bang, bang. Apparently, Ped, there was a burger option yesterday. Phil found one, yeah, but he agrees. Every kiosk had the £6.60 pies, and it was all expensive, and the stuff outside was even more so. Yeah. So that's basically
that's going to push people away from it.
Totally, yeah.
People just go everywhere else.
Yeah.
PJ said they didn't see any prawn sandwiches on the menu. Danny Church says players come and go, but us fans will always be here. Liam says if we get an offer around 90 million for Jared, we'd be mad to say no. His replacement is literally playing at right back. We'd have to sell him. If he's the lad, for all we know, it's another. If it did even come from him in the slightest, could be another bargaining tool from his agent going, how much you want him to stay?
Yeah. They've had the round discussions about extending his contract or increasing his wages, or both probably, yeah. And just put a story out there. First one is, Man United are still interested. Second one is he's considering his options, thus implying those two things are joined together. And then next week, or whenever, you'll find that he's signed an extension to his existing deal. Because why wouldn't you? Because he's here for at least another year. Yeah. Unless, as you say, someone comes with crazy money, and his value's only going to go up, isn't it?
Sky have got, and like every other news outlet, have got to find something to talk about, haven't they? And if
including us.
Exactly. And if someone goes, I've heard Jared considering his future because he didn't get in the England squad, then that's a story for them, isn't it? We'll see. I think for the person saying, well, you talked about Luca Dean leaving the other day, it was a very, very different discussion, wasn't it? We allowed a manager to freeze, to sort of isolate someone so we could sell him. Which, as far as I'm aware, he's played every single game, hasn't he?
The discussion
for
was
David
man
Moyes.
management type stuff, wasn't it? And how
how
managers
bad that recruitment was,
forced people out, yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. Stephen said Everton's under-21 side were atrocious, are atrocious, by the way. A couple of people said Patterson looked good in midfield. Jack Patterson.
He did. He looks like he could be something there.
And Rob Kay said so did Isaac Heath.
Yeah.
There you go. Good.
Not one of them will make it.
No.
Good.
Braden Graham, maybe.
He looks sharp, doesn't he?
Yeah. None of the rest will make it.
Do you like Patterson? I know that. I'm saying that's the stuff I'm getting. He like
Just
Patterson.
opinions.
I didn't see it, so
Yeah.
I've got no opinion on him. Glad Braden Graham looks sharp. Like,
He did.
Right.
He did.
He's only 17, isn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Danny says liked Heath.
Roman Dixon, underwhelmed.
That's mad because someone else said Dixon was excellent.
Really?
And looked sharp. This was early on and gone. Find out it was, unless it's gone. No, it must have reset.
Yeah.
Someone had said Dixon was excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I didn't see a
Opinions?
second of it, so I've got
Yeah,
no opinion.
opinions, yeah.
No opinion on it because I didn't see a second of it. But listen, it is what it is, isn't it? Those lads, up to them. Work hard. See what happens. See
The
what
minimum.
happens. That's it. The bare minimum. Exactly. Right. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.